Hey polish fans, it's Caroline again and welcome to another video here at Wild Moon Lacquer. In today's video we are going over my wish list for polish pickup, or rather my lack thereof. I actually do have polishes on my wish list, but at least as of filming I'm pretty confident I will be skipping this month of polish pickup. But I figured we would go over what was on my wish list, reasons why I'm deciding to skip the month or the polish, and a bit about the low buy that I've been doing for about a month and a half. If you are unfamiliar with Polish Pickup, it is a monthly collaboration between a number of polish makers. You also have people that do wax and other crafts. The theme for September is Haunted History. It will run from September 1st, a Friday, to September 4th, which is the following Monday. So an easy rule of thumb to remember is it opens the first full weekend, Friday through Monday of a month. So in this case, September 1st is a Friday, so that's when it will open. Like I said, the theme is Haunted History. That's actually part of the reason why I'm skipping quite a lot of these polishes. It is one of those themes that just gives me the willies. So let's go ahead and jump into my wish list. I actually had 10 polishes that I had eyed when I was scrolling through the spoilers that had come out in the Polish Pickup Facebook group. That is actually a group that I suggest joining if you haven't already. It really provides you with a longer time frame to think about a polish, to look at swatches. I've gone over my strategy about how I do polish pickup before, but just a simplistic version is I usually start the week after polish pickup closes, and that is when you will start seeing spoilers on the Facebook group. There will be a thread on that group that basically all of the makers who are joining for the following month can go ahead and post their spoilers. Oftentimes it won't have official swatch pictures necessarily, but sometimes they will have a bottle swatch or their inspiration photo with maybe a quick little swatch picture on their own nails. But you'll get at least an idea about if the polish is something that is catching your eye immediately right off the bat. So that's something that I start with, and again, that's usually something that starts about a week after the previous month has already closed. So you essentially have about 3 weeks to keep tabs on your wish list, to add to it, to take away from it, to seek out more swatches, whether it's on the polish makers Facebook page or if it's in their Facebook group. You'll also of course see swatches come out as the month progresses in the Polish Pickup Pack group again. So again, that's another reason why I highly suggest joining if you want to keep tabs about which polishes are releasing. But in any case, it's at least a good way to start making your wish list. And then of course, once Polish Pickup opens for wish listing, which is usually the Sunday prior to when Polish Pickup opens officially for sale, then you can go online and see the official swatch pictures as they've been gathered here for each individual polish. It's also a good time to, when you have your wish list combined and added, you can go through and see if you are noticing any similarities between the ones that you've added onto your wish list. I find that that's the case quite often for me, although sometimes that doesn't stop me from still buying the polishes that have some similarities. It looks like I actually do still have some polish on my wish list from last month, so let me just remove those really quick. Alright, so I don't actually have as many on my wish list as I thought. Because of those 3, I was up to 10. I actually only have 7 on my wish list for this month. And again, these are just polishes that as I was looking at the spoilers from the Polish Pickup group, they had caught my eye. Now officially, I did have 2 that I was pretty confident I would be ending up buying, and we'll get to those here in a second. But after reviewing everything, I'm pretty confident that I'm going to be just flat out skipping. So I figured we would at least go over the polishes that did catch my eye, and I will give you reasons why I am not going to be purchasing. Now for most of these, I don't have dupes. This is the month that I don't really have a dupe for the polishes that I'm not getting. It's mainly going to boil down to, again, that theme that I just don't feel comfortable with, I don't like. So a lot of these polishes, for the reason of the inspiration or the name, I will not be getting. So let's go ahead and jump in. The first polish on my wish list that did catch my eye is from Monarch Lacquer. If you guys are unfamiliar, Monarch Lacquer is actually one half of the Fair Maiden team duo that recently split up into 2 separate brands. So we have Monarch, and then Beau Revs is the other half of Fair Maiden, what used to be Fair Maiden. So Monarch Lacquer is bringing us Eerie Embers. It will sell for $13. Have a cap of none, so it's available for anybody who would like to get it. It will come in a 15 ml bottle. This one is inspired by the Eerie Embers of Salem. and is described as fiery shifting flakes and black glitter in an orange jelly base. So this one did catch my eye. I think it's perfect for the fall season that's upcoming. You have these multi-chromatic, at least that's what I'm seeing, multi-chromatic flakies in this squishy jelly base. I like the addition of the black glitters as well. They add a really interesting fall effect there on the nail. And this is one of the pictures that I really did like of this. I love how this looks. It doesn't look too squishy. It looks like the flakies for the most part cover up the visible nail line, and I love the color. For this one, it's not necessarily one specific thing that's making me not get it. It's not even necessarily the inspiration. For this one, it's mainly the fact that I do already have a polish, I think from Fair Maiden, that is called, was it Mind Freak? I think that they came out with in Polish Pickup a few years ago that I do already have in my collection. So because of that, it didn't make it to my official wish list, although I did think that it was pretty. I do like the combination. Like I said, it is very, very fall-esque. So if you don't have a fall flaky and you love orange, this I think is a perfect one to grab, or at least look into, see if you don't have something similar to it already in your collection. But that one is one that I am skipping, but it had caught my eye. It did make it to my look into further wish list. That is Monarch Lacquer's Eerie Embers. The next one is actually one that was on my I'm going to get it wish list. This one is Garden Path Lacquer's An Aura of Foreboding. It will sell for $13.25. Come in a, ooh, it doesn't say, but I think there's might be like 12 ml, I think. It is inspired by the Haunted Mansion, I believe, at Disneyland, and is described as a blurple, crelly base packed with large red, pink iridescent glass flakes and aura shimmer and sparkling holographic microflakes. So this one was one that I was absolutely going to get. And again, the reason for skipping this one is not necessarily any particular one thing. It is a gorgeous polish. I love blurples. Of course, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that purples and blurples are one of my, if not my top color loves. I love those colors. I also really, really enjoy when they add a red shimmer like this one does have. And of course, it has hollow flakies. This one was going to be a must grab for the month. But again, I'm on a low buy. And I'll go over more of how that low buy is going, but spoiler, it's going better than I thought. I'm actually finding it a lot easier to say no to polishes, which I found kind of surprising. That was not how I thought it would be going. I thought for sure it'd be really difficult to skip a lot of these polishes that I am finding beautiful, because that was how things were going for most of this year. I was finding it very difficult to cut down my wish list of beautiful polishes, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be skipping this one. Again, I don't necessarily have a dupe for this, but it is one that, while it is absolutely beautiful, I don't know that I would be super upset if I didn't end up grabbing this. So for the time being, this is one I'm going to be skipping as well. That is Garden Path Lacquer's An Aura of Foreboding. The next one is from Ethereal. This one is called Little Spirits. It will sell for $13. Come in a 15 ml bottle and is inspired by the pet cemetery in the maker's childhood hometown of Lilydale, New York, and is described as a sheer brown toned purple base with green to blue large particled shimmer. So this is actually one that I think I would potentially have grabbed, but the inspiration again really creeps me out. It's also a very, very sheer polish from a lot of these pictures. This one I think is the one that makes it look the most opaque, but I'm not sure if it's the lighting or just the fact that the swatcher does have shorter nails. But I just feel like for this polish, I was able to talk myself out of it because of those two reasons. Again, it is really pretty, but it will be one that I am skipping. So that was Ethereal's Little Spirits. Next up, this one is from Do Nail Polish called Poisoned Apple. It will sell for $12.50, come in a 10 ml bottle, and this one does have a cap. Only 150 of these are going to be available. It is inspired by the Wicked Queen that poisoned Snow White and is described as a deep red with chameleon flakes and a silver magnetic pull. So this is another instance where the polish is really pretty. This is a perfect fall shade. I love this sort of a tone, and the magnetic pull on this is really kind of more on the subtle side, but it adds this really interesting sheen to the nail. This is an image of it with a matte top coat. So yeah, I mean, it's a really pretty color. A couple of things on this one. if the 10 ml bottle is true, it is a pretty small bottle. This one in particular had caught my eye, but I was sort of on the fence about it. And the reason why I ended up not putting it on my official wish list is because there is one that is pretty similar to it coming out in the breast cancer awareness box in September. And I definitely want to be getting polishes from that box. I in fact have about 7 or 8 polishes on that wish list, so we'll be going over that at some point here as well in another video. But yeah, this one is similar to one that is in that wish list. The one from the breast cancer awareness box I believe is more of a dark pink, but it has a very similar deep look on the nail and a subtle silver magnetic pull. So because of that, I decided that this one wasn't going to make it to my official wish list either, but it is a beautiful shade. I just thought I would show it as a comparison of something that I think I will be getting for another box. But it's a pretty color. Again, I mean, it looks great. I just will be skipping it. So that was Dew Nail Polish Poisoned Apple. The next one is one that was on my official list of 2. So as I said, a lot of these were just ones that had caught my eye, but I was skipping them for one reason or another. This one was one that had caught my eye and I was definitely going to be getting it. This one is Danglefoot Nail Polish Hair Raising, and it will sell for $13. This one comes in a 12 ml bottle and it has a cap. This one only has 200 available. It's inspired by something that the maker thinks haunts all of us, our past hair mistakes, and is described as a raspberry jelly with strong green, blue, purple shimmer. So this is one, like I said, I thought for sure I would be getting this. The inspiration was not creepy at all. It was more like a play on the haunted theme. And I really like the color. I love the shift. I love the berry tone of the base. I like that in pictures like this, you almost get this sort of a brown leaning burgundy shade in the base, which I think is just gorgeous. And I love shimmer polishes. However, once I was putting together my wish list, I realized that I wasn't as in love with it as I thought I would be while I was putting together that list of my must gets for that month, of any that I was going to be getting that month. And so in the end, I decided that I wouldn't be getting this. Like I said, it is pretty. I do love the shimmer and I love the base, but I'm just not sure if it is unique enough for me to grab. It just, again, isn't screaming by me. So for that, I am not going to be getting this one either. But I mean, again, this one is like one of my favorite pictures of this polish. It is really, really pretty in this image. So I probably, if I were to get it, I would want to wear it over maybe a deeper burgundy to see if I could get that color. But if it ends up looking more like this on me, which the description does say a raspberry jelly, I don't know that I would be as in love with it as if it looked like this on me. But in any case, that was Danglefoot Nail Polish Hair Raising. Next up is one that definitely caught my eye in the spoilers. This brand is the other half of the Old Fair Maiden brand, and it is Beau Rev's lacquer called Bent Neck Lady. It will sell for $12. This one does not have a cap, so everybody can have a chance to grab a bottle. You can even wait till the last minute when it closes on Monday, before it closes on Monday, to grab yourself a bottle if you need more time to think it through. But this one is inspired by The Haunting of Hill House and is described as a dusky dark blue base with violet red green shimmer, a fiery red orange magnetic, and hollow flake. So this one, when I saw the pictures of the polish itself, it definitely caught my eye. However, if you go to the inspiration page, I cannot get past that picture. It really creeps me out. So I love magnetics. I think this one is absolutely gorgeous. I just don't know if it is so unique that I can get past the name of the polish, which is of course the inspiration picture, which it would remind me of every single time I looked at the polish. So because of that, I just didn't add this to my official wish list, but I wanted to show it as one of the polishes that I did have on my wish list because it definitely caught my eye. I've been wanting to try this new brand since they launched. Both Beau Rev's and Monarch launched in the same month. That's actually part of one of my wins, let's say, in the low buy for the last month and a half or so, is I have not purchased from either brand yet. But again, this is another instance where I will be skipping, but I eventually do want to try this brand. That is Beau Rev's Bent Neck Lady. And then the last polish that did catch my eye, at this time from the makers group, because she did post a which one should I do for polish pickup, which I thought was really neat, and another reason to join the makers groups that you enjoy following, because they often will reach out to their fan group, to their fan page or their group page, however you want to call it, and ask for your opinions. In this instance, she had two that she was considering. It was either this one or I think it might have been a purple. And she asked the group, which one would you like to see launched for Polish Pickup? I'm having a tough time deciding. And I think that's really neat that you as the audience, you as the potential buyer, have a say in what these makers can put out, which I think is just really, really neat. So in this case, this is Alchemy Lacquers, and the polish that she released is the green one called Oddities. It will sell for $12.50. It comes in a 12 ml bottle, and this one is another one that does have a cap. Only 300 of these are available. It is inspired by the medicinal plant garden of a favorite museum in the heart of Philadelphia, the Mutter Museum, and Oddities is described as a dusty chartreuse jelly nail lacquer with contrasting purple to red to orange shifting shimmer. So this one definitely did catch my eye. I really like the unusual shade of green, and that aura that you get at the face of the nail, that glow of that shimmer really is eye-catching and beautiful. Ultimately, though, I did decide not to add this to my official wish list because I'm just not sure how vibrant of a green it will end up looking on me. This is closer to my skin tone here, and on this swatcher, it looks very soft. I was much more drawn to this when it was looking like this punchy, vibrant, almost neon chartreuse green, and I'm not saying like official neon, but just that vibrant, bright green. And that's more how I would want it to look on me, like this one. You can see how intensely green that is around the edges. So if this is how it ends up looking more on me, I just don't know that I would reach for this as much as I would if it was this intense green. What I will say though is it could be the lighting. I don't know, because this one is softer and you can see a lot of the aura glow around it. Even in the bottle you can see that purple and the orange, which again, what an unusual combination. I think that is very creative and unusual. Can I say unusual any more times? But just a very, very cool combination. I really enjoy this one. But again, I'm not the biggest green fan, so I am pickier about the shades that I do choose to add into my rack. Even though I have kept quite a number of greens, I just don't wear them as often as I feel like I need to if I'm going to have a collection that has a gazillion shades of green. So for that reason, I decided that this one wasn't going to make it to my official wish list. So that's another one I will be skipping, but that was Alchemy Lacquers Oddities. So there we have it. That is 7 polishes that I will not be getting for the month of September for Polish Pickup. Let me know if you had any must-haves for this month down below. If you are skipping any for the similar reasons that I am, just that the theme really gives you the heebie-jeebies, or if you liked the theme. I know a lot of people were absolutely thrilled to pieces about this theme. So as always, hopefully this was a little bit helpful for you in maybe whittling down your wish list. So that was my non-polished pickup wish list. A few other things that I have been able to skip out on that I found shockingly easy. Again, my low buy is going better than I thought. I really thought that when I was challenged to actually keep track of what I was spending, which was the main issue, I thought for sure, oh my goodness, how am I supposed to cut back that much? With all of these releases coming out, with the big boxes like Polished Pickup and Hella Handmade Creations, plus the smaller ones, you've got the indie box, you've got Little Box of Horror, you've got Polished Gamers, you have a new one that's actually coming out. All of these boxes, plus the makers, like Fancy Gloss had a huge release, Ethereal had a huge release. There's a number of brands. Actually, I think Ethereal had 2 releases over the last month. So how am I supposed to budget it down? And honestly, I've been finding it much easier than I thought it would be. And I can't say if it's just the fact that I have a budget to look at now. And I'm not talking about just going to your bank account. I actually have a spreadsheet that I am using to budget out all of the funds that I have that I can use towards my spending. And as you can see, the only thing I have spent against it is Polish Pickup from last month. I have not purchased any other polishes, which is very unusual for me. Very unusual. Because usually my month of spending would be way overkill. So the fact that I've only spent $45.87 for, I believe it was 3 polishes for the month of August, is really good. A huge win. So like I said, I did skip out on Hella Handmade Creations for August. There was a number of releases like Ethereal that I've managed to skip out on. Here's just a list of the collabs that I had on my radar. So Polished Pickup, Polished Gamers Box, Hella Handmade Creations, Little Box of Horrors, the Indie Collective, which I actually don't know if that's still running or not. I get that one and the Indie Box kind of confused, but you have the Indie Collective, the Indie Box, Talk Indie to Me, which is usually a 2 polish collab that is bi-monthly, so just June, August, October, and December, and I honestly don't know if that's still going either. The Sparkle and Shine box, which is also every other month. You have the Fandom Flakies box, Smidgen of Us, and the Unicorn and the Mystics. Plus, there's also a new box that I am keeping my eye on, which is called Not a Box. The theme for their upcoming box this month for September is Trick or Trash. But like I said, there are so many boxes out there. It is very hard to A, keep track of them, and B, keep track of how is your budget supposed to cover and stretch over all of these things. In any case, back to the budget, this is what I'm looking at, and as you can see, I've managed to, in air quotes, save up a lot of money from different things. I have been selling a few things on eBay. I ended up cashing in some swag bucks, which is a browser add-on that you can have that basically saves up points for certain purchases on websites. I have a number of them. Honey, swag bucks, and there's another one, Rakuten. In any case, if you do a lot of online shopping, I definitely suggest using one of those add-ons to gather points because it does add up and eventually you can cash it in. Like in this instance, I cashed it in for $100. So that's $100 I wouldn't have towards this budget if I hadn't been using swag bucks over the last year. So that's what my budget has been looking like. And I think part of why I'm finding it easier to skip on some things is the fact that I'm looking at this budget growing and I don't want to dig into it. It's certainly opposite of what I thought it would be. I thought for sure the more I saw in this, the more I would be like, yes, go shop, spend all the money on all the shiny things. And I'm finding it's not that way. I'm finding myself purposefully forgetting to go place orders like I did with Ethereal and a few other brands. And I think it's because I didn't want to dip into my savings. I didn't want to spend the coin. I also know that September and going forward, now that we're reaching into the fall releases, it's going to be killer on this budget. Fall is my favorite season, so I know that a lot of the fall releases are going to get me. I've already seen Holo Taco come out with their fall release, and they have some really beautiful colors there. ILNP came out with a fall collection, although that was mostly magnetic, so I don't know that that was necessarily ones that caught my eye for the purpose of a fall collection. Orly came out with their fall collection, and I do have that because of the Color Pass box. But yeah, fall I know is going to be more of a challenge because it is my favorite season, and sorry this part is just so much of me just rambling, but hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of insight into what I'm doing for a low buy. Let me know if you have any questions about it. I can always try to do like a little Q&A about what I'm doing, about different polishes that I may have skipped, how I'm feeling about it, but just for the short of it, like I said, it's going surprisingly well considering there's beautiful polishes released all the time. I really thought it would be much more difficult than it has been. So I think we're just going to close it out there so I don't keep you guys for an additional 15 minutes of me just blathering about spending or not spending, but hopefully that is at least helpful to you guys. I will also sort of plug one of the groups that I recently joined. It is Put the Polish Down. It's a group on Facebook, and that group is actually one of the biggest reasons why I feel like I am being successful with my low buy goals. Like I said, I don't really have a specific goal in mind of how many polishes I'm not going to buy, how many polishes I am going to buy. I'm definitely not on a no buy. You have a lot of people in this group who are trying to do the same thing, who are realizing that their collection, whatever size it may be, and it does vary wildly, is too much for them, or they are overwhelmed by their choices, or they are really under a budget constraint and they don't have the funds to buy like they would like to, or there's a million different reasons. So it's very interesting to see the different posts, see people post their wins for the month, see people post their goals for the month, trying to use polish that they already have in their collection, and all of that has been very helpful in this process as well. So that's just one of the groups that I highly suggest joining, especially if, like me, you are in a million other groups that are very enabling about spending, to have one that sort of corrals that back and be like, whoa, 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 rein it in just a touch. I will say it is not as like hand slappy as I thought it would be. I was very hesitant actually to join the group initially because I thought it would be much more like, how dare you spend money on polish? How dare you be so irresponsible? And I thought it would be much more along those lines of, you don't need it. This is, you know, irresponsible and overindulgent and a lot of these other things. And it's not that way. It is very much use intention. Be mindful about each purchase that you are making. Don't let FOMO scare you into buying. Don't let hype motivate you to buy. There's a lot of just things about it that are much more positive enforcements as opposed to the negative enforcements that I was worried that the group would be about. And the admins in the group are very positive. They are very encouraging. So if you are in my boat and needing to have a little bit of like a support system of people to just be like, hey, by the way, you know, this is what we're doing. This is what we're skipping on. Here's why we're skipping. It's a very helpful group to be a part of. So hopefully, like I said, this wasn't too much of a rambling video for you guys. Hopefully it was helpful. And again, if you do have any other questions about the process, feel free to leave them down below. If I get enough questions that I feel like I can put together a Q&A, I will definitely do that as well. But again, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys did find this helpful in your own polish journey, in your purchases. If you're new, definitely consider hitting that little subscribe button if you like nail polish content. I am trying to, at this point, post about 3 times a week, and I post hauls. You will still be seeing those. I do have a number from this year alone that I have been backlogged on that I haven't had time to unbox and film because I did have that huge estate haul of over 2,000 polishes to go through. One of the reasons why that I am trying to be much more intentional about the polishes that I'm adding to my collection and all of that. But if you like polish content, think about hitting that little subscribe button. If you found the video helpful, click the little thumbs up. As always, I hope you have a good rest of your day, a good weekend coming up ahead. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in that next one.